Hey everybody, welcome to the Feed You podcast. This is the introduction.
Welcome to the Feed You podcast, giving you the real scoop on raising your business to new heights. Expert education, inspiration, and motivation to fuel your purpose, your passion, and your profits. Here's your host, Alisa Conner.
Welcome to the Feed You podcast. I'm so excited to have you here in the inaugural episode of the podcast. Yep, this is episode 1, and I am thrilled and excited and a little bit nervous to be putting this out into the world. This has been a labor of love, blood, sweat, and tears, but I am really excited to be bringing you this podcast, and my intention behind this episode is to let you know what the podcast is about, who it's for, and what you can expect. So, this podcast dream of mine started quite a long time ago. In fact, I even went so far as in doing some interviews, recording those interviews, and putting everything together. But it just didn't want to come to fruition. And I think part of that was that I just wasn't really clear about who I wanted to help or how this was supposed to come about. As I've embarked on this journey over the last 4-5 years, it's been a little while now, I came to the conclusion that I had something to say, but I wanted to be really particular about how I said it, who I said it to, and then it was really getting in front of the right people. So this podcast, the Feed You podcast, was made for people like you. People that are so busy feeding others, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and even ecologically, trying to make the world a better place, trying to give a little bit back, that you don't have time to take care of yourself, let alone grow your business. And you don't have time to go research everything you need to know. So the purpose of this podcast is for me to help you on that journey, because I'm also passionate about healing the world. So what do I mean by healers? I mean anybody that's out in the world right now that's trying to make it a better place. Maybe you're an environmentalist who's trying to make the planet a better place to live. Or maybe you're an actual physical healer, someone that's working with either medicine or alternative medicine, like a chiropractor, a massage therapist, an acupuncturist, and you're just trying to do your part to heal the people living on this planet. Or maybe, just maybe, you're a spiritual healer, somebody that sees that we are in pain because we are so disconnected as a society that we don't have any real connection anymore, that you're doing your part to reconnect the people on this planet so that we can make a difference, whether it's changing the world through education or changing the world because we are helping to clean up the planet, or we're changing the world simply because we're creating better relationships with each other. Those, my friends, are the healers. Those are the people I'm passionate about helping. Those are the people that will indeed change not only this planet, but the universe. Well, I really worked hard and put my intention and my purpose into bringing on not only esteemed guests that are going to help you grow from the inside out and the outside in to have flourishing businesses and have a lifestyle that you can really enjoy that comes with being an entrepreneur. But I've also included trainings, or I will be including trainings, that are things that I've learned along the way. So you may be asking, who is this Alisa Conner person? What does she know? Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I've been in the entrepreneurial world now for almost 20 years. A little over 17, but we'll just call it 20 to make it easy. I started in corporate like most people, had my first job, and I just never could quite fit in that round hole with my square peg. So I went off and I created my first business, and what I found was there's not a whole lot of people helping. There's not a whole lot of manuals to follow, and there certainly isn't anybody that you can call to get help. Back then, now, mind you, there weren't podcasts. You couldn't always find the information you wanted. But now I feel like you're almost inundated with too much information that you don't really know where to turn or what you should be looking at or who's right or who's telling you the truth. So with that in mind, I'm striving really hard to bring only volatile guests that leave you with information that you can not only ingest really quickly, but that you have a plan of action so you can take what they're telling you and go put it into action right away. I continued on my journey, and I had another 2 businesses in between there, and now I have a 3rd business. And that business, in a nutshell, is to help you find your people and have your people find you so that simply you can have more clients and have more impact on this planet, specifically online through your website, your sales funnel, and your online brand. But we'll get to that later. In the meantime, I just want to thank you for your time and for a few minutes of your attention while I told you about this podcast. I do hope you'll tune in to subsequent episodes and that maybe you'll even subscribe. That would be awesome. If you ever have any information or questions or anything that you want to know or learn about on this podcast, the best way to reach me is via Instagram. So if you reach out on Instagram, just send me a direct message and I'll do my best to get back to each and every one. In the meantime, I hope you'll be well and that you continue your work on this planet and that you will continue to turn into this podcast on a weekly basis for inspiration, education, and information to elevate, grow, and rise your business. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Feed You Podcast at www.alisaconner.com/podcast.